In this video, I put up a small explainer about how to overcome food addiction. Food addiction is an engineered, socio-economical, and biological event. Understanding factors that impact your food addiction and steps that are required to finally recover from it. Hopefully by the end of this small video, you will have some actionable insights. And I hope you enjoy the video.
Listen up. If you're watching this, you're probably just exhausted. You've spent years, maybe even decades, burning through your precious mental energy trying to fix your relationship with food, only to end up right back at square one. Well, today we are completely flipping the script. This explainer is all about a total paradigm shift. We're going to start treating your brain, your focus, and your biology like the ultimate business assets. And we are going to walk through exactly how to reclaim your psychological control from a system that was quite literally engineered to steal it from you. Okay, let's dive right in. So, let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat. Why do your diets keep failing? Look, you probably blame yourself, right? If you've got an ADHD brain or you struggle with executive dysfunction, you've almost certainly internalized this as a lack of discipline. You tell yourself, man, I'm just weak, I have zero willpower, I just can't stick to a plan. You promise yourself, okay, Monday's gonna be different, and then boom, by Wednesday at 9 p.m., you're at the bottom of a cookie jar feeling like an absolute failure. But here is the brutal, honest truth. You didn't fail because you're weak. You failed because you brought willpower to a neurochemical war. Willpower is a short-term override mechanism. It's a glitch fix, not a 24/7 operating system. You're taking your absolute most depleted resource, your decision-making capacity at the end of a long, stressful day, and you're pitting it against a multi-billion-dollar food industry that literally hires scientists to explicitly hack your biology. The match was never fair. It's a rigged game.
Section 1. The dopamine hijack.
Look, if you don't understand how the food industry has systematically drained your executive function, you're going to keep fighting the wrong enemy forever. Check this out. 1 in 5. A massive meta-analysis of nearly 200,000 people showed that 20% of the population meets the clinical criteria for food addiction. Not a complicated relationship with food, clinical addiction. We're talking the exact same diagnostic framework they use for cocaine and alcohol. So right now, I want to validate your struggle. You're not alone, and it is not a character flaw. It's a biological response to an engineered stimulus.
The weapon they use against you is called the Bliss point. Back in the 1950s, food scientists figured out the exact laboratory-engineered ratio of sugar, fat, and salt that triggers maximum dopamine in your brain. They weaponized our primal survival instincts for pure profit. When you eat ultra-processed food, it floods your brain with this unnatural dopamine spike, creating a massive crash that makes just eating one feel neurologically wrong. For an ADHD brain that's already constantly hunting for a dopamine hit, this is a lethal trap.
Now you might be wondering, why is our brain so defenseless against this? Simply because supermarkets are only 109 years old. We are literally running Stone Age biological hardware, but we are completely surrounded by ultra-modern, lab-created temptations. For hundreds of thousands of years, calorie density meant you survived the winter. Now, it means you're fighting billions of dollars of research deployed against biology that never even evolved to defend against it.
Moving on to Section 2. Why moderation is a lie.
The biggest scam the diet industry ever sold you is the idea of moderation. If you have a highly sensitive dopamine system or conditioned food dependencies, traditional advice like just eat in moderation is a complete trap. It absolutely destroys your already depleted prefrontal cortex. Let's look at the cognitive ROI here. Moderation requires you to make 100 micro decisions a day. Is this a good time? Maybe just one piece. Can I stop now? Every single decision drains your mental RAM. It taxes your executive function and keeps that craving circuit wide open. Zero tolerance, on the other hand, requires one decision. You make it once when your prefrontal cortex is fully online. It frees up your mental RAM, closes the negotiation entirely, and literally kills the craving over time. So the absolutely crucial point here is this: 0 is easier than 1. I know it sounds extreme to people who don't understand addiction, but it's the absolute truth. One exception reactivates the entire addiction loop. It's the priming effect. But 0 requires absolutely no daily negotiation. It's a structural boundary. It is the ultimate cognitive load reduction strategy for a busy, focused brain.
Section 3. Engineer your environment.
Now that we know willpower is a guaranteed losing strategy, if we want to protect the depleted brain from making bad investments, we have to change the structure of the game before we even start playing. Here are the brutal, non-negotiable steps. Step 1, remove all trigger foods from your house entirely. Not hidden on a high shelf, gone. If it's in your house, it's in your brain, actively draining your willpower. Step 2. The buying principle. The act of buying is the gateway. You simply do not open that gate when a craving hits. You do not make your tired 9 p.m. brain choose between health and dopamine. You make it physically impossible by structurally eliminating the temptation in the first place.
But hey, what happens when you're out in the world, you're at the store, and the craving hits hard? You use the sparkling water protocol. You need a physical interrupt. When a craving fires off in the supermarket, you don't negotiate with yourself. You automatically pivot to the drink section and buy a strong, unsweetened sparkling water. The carbonation hits your stomach, creates a physical sensation that interrupts the craving signal and actually breaks the behavioral conditioning. It's a pre-programmed, high-conviction alternative.
Section 4. High-ROI Food Framework.
Okay, so we've fixed the environment, now let's fix the fuel. We are shifting from a mindset of restriction to a purely biological solution. We need to replace those cheap chemical hits with high-yield structural assets that actually build biological wealth. Think about the biological ROI of prioritizing protein and fat over refined carbs. And look, this isn't about being a gym bro, this is pure neurochemistry. Building your meals around clear proteins and healthy fats stabilizes your blood sugar. It actually repairs your burned-out dopamine receptors. The amino acids from protein literally rebuild your neurotransmitters, the exact chemicals your brain needs to feel motivated and focused. This provides sustained, crash-free energy, which is exactly what an ADHD brain desperately needs to function at its peak.
Let's just lay out this stark contrast in your dietary investments here. Whole foods give you stable dopamine, sustained fuel, real fullness, and zero cognitive cost. Ultra-processed foods, they give you massive dopamine crashes, energy roller coasters, false hunger signals generated by your vagus nerve, and constant, exhausting food noise. When you just look at the math, ultra-processed food is a terrible investment. It bankrupts your biology.
Section 5. The Long-Term Value Game.
Let's bring this all home. This entire framework is not some quick 30-day diet. It is a massive long-term investment in your psychological autonomy. What's the payout for making these hard choices up front? It's incredible. You recover your dopamine sensitivity, meaning normal life, your hobbies, and your work actually feel rewarding again. You restore your executive function, giving you back your focus and your drive. You stabilize your hormonal health, and ultimately, you achieve true food freedom, a life where food is no longer a battlefield, a constant negotiation, or a source of guilt. It just becomes high-quality fuel for a high-performing life.
But you have to make a choice, and it requires a real identity shift. You get what you prioritize, not what you say you prioritize, but what your repeated daily actions actually reveal. Every single time you run the protocol instead of giving into the binge, you are casting a vote for your future self. Your choices dictate whether you are prioritizing temporary, cheap relief or long-term, compounding, biological wealth.
So I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Are you ready to stop negotiating with a system that was specifically designed to break you? You have the blueprint now. You know the mechanics. The willpower game is officially over. It's time to engineer your environment, invest in high ROI fuel, and take absolute ownership of your biological recovery. The decision is yours. Let's get to work.